What is going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, this channel is all about how to get the most from your lifestyle, your fitness, and just general tips to improve your overall well-being. In today's video, we are joined by a very special guest, Nate Edwardson. He's all the way from Canada. Really cool guy. We did a Zoom chat and he was kind enough to share some tips and tricks about YouTube in general, his thoughts and opinions on CrossFit, favorite athletes, and he's just an all-around cool, awesome guy. So let's dive into that footage just now.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. Where are you at? You're English, I assume?
I am English, but I actually live in Scotland. Basically, I was in Nottingham, which is Robin Hood's country. It's basically Robin Hood town. And then I moved up to Manchester, and then from Manchester up to Edinburgh. So I live just north of Edinburgh. It's pretty cool.
Dude, I'm like absolutely obsessed with the UK. I don't know why it is, but I'm obsessed. I've been twice now to London, and I just love it. I love the history. I love the culture. I don't know. It's so cool to me, man. Every time I go.
Like if you're from a different country, you want to be in that country, because I think that about Canada, and I think that about like America as well. Like I'd love to live there. It'd be awesome to live there.
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever want to live in America, but Canada is awesome.
Yeah, Canada's great. My auntie and uncle got married in Canada.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, like they love it. They just absolutely love it. I think it was Vancouver.
Dude, Vancouver is the best place on earth. That's where I live now. Like it's the most beautiful place on earth. Like it's
a lot of people tell me that it's an awesome place to be. Like
it's insane. It's probably the freshest air on the planet, next to like an island in the Pacific. Like it's so fresh. And it's because you have like the glacier mountains as well as the ocean, like within a stone's throw of each other. Yeah. So it's just like the craziest, freshest air that, like, if you like being outside, it's just like the best place in the world.
You get good weather there as well.
Yeah, pretty good. Like it's the only place in Canada that doesn't snow. So it's like maybe once a year. Yeah, it's a good thing for sure. Like maybe once a year it'll snow for like a day, but that's it. And that's rare. You get like 1 or 2 rainy months, but literally the rest of it's beautiful. Like it's been like 17 and sunny since like February here.
Yeah, so. Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. I don't know like how I was going to structure this, but I thought if I had some like bank of questions for you, then we'll go through with maybe that will sort of initiate some flow of conversation and whatnot like that. But if you're ever over here, then feel free to come by. You know, you've got a place to stay and all that sort of stuff. I've got a garage here and all that business. So if you ever want to come to Edinburgh,
dude, I'd love to come to Scotland for sure. Next time I go to the UK, like I said, I've done London twice. I came for Strength in Depth, not the one that just passed, but the one before that. So the 2018 or whatever. And really liked it, but stayed within London. And then my girlfriend and I came back in this past November, but I was doing a project for one of my sponsors, and I was just kind of like traveling within the city again. We didn't really leave. We were only there for like 5 days. But next time I'm like, there's no way I'm coming across the pond again without like taking like a month or 2. And I want to like go around, because like what interests me, like I like London, but like I want to see like the countryside and stuff, you know, like I want to go to like, all the places you just said, which isn't the countryside, but like different places in the UK, definitely Scotland, definitely Wales. Like I'm a big rugby guy. So like see all the like.
You want to come like, so this place, if you were ever to come over, you was to time it right. There's a couple of times I would suggest to do it. Number one would be when the Six Nations is on, especially if you're into rugby.
That'd be so cool, dude.
That honest to God, when you're here in Edinburgh, when it's the Six Nations, it is just electric. Like honest to God,
that's so cool.
Small, like it's not like London if you're at Twickenham, because London's so vast and big. You've obviously have that kind of energy within the stadium and the kind of local pubs and stuff like that, but Edinburgh just goes absolutely bananas.
The whole city. That's cool.
So, you know, you see everyone walking to the stadium in the rugby gear and all the kind of kilts and stuff like that, and it's just an amazing atmosphere, and the pubs are just full to the brim, selling pies and stuff like that. Yeah,
that's dope, dude.
The other one is the other time to come. It's not going to be on this year because of the pandemic, but it's the Edinburgh Festival.
Oh, okay, cool.
The Edinburgh Festival is a month long, and it's got every single bar and restaurant and just any venue, like churches and everything, just turns into like music venues, and comedians go there, and that's where the comedians establish themselves, but also that you get like top comedians coming back that, you know, any comedian that you know is probably probably played at the Edinburgh Festival.
That's cool.
Massive thing. So you can literally just spend a day walking around, and you can do free comedy clubs and stuff like that, and just walk in, and maybe just donate a couple of quid or whatnot like that, and then you can go to like really big sort of comedy events and stuff. So yeah,
dude, that's so cool. Yeah, I'd love to do, like, I don't know how or when, but like I would even be so tempted to do like a year abroad or something like that. Like just come like live an experience, because it's like I love like that. I don't know why it attracts me so much, man. But like anything to do with the UK, to do with like, I don't know, just that whole culture around, like we just don't have that here. Like the communal culture, the pub kind of culture, the like, because I grew up with so much of that playing rugby and stuff, right? So like I've known of it for so long, and I've known and kind of been a part of it, but I've never seen it in like real life. So I don't know, there's just something about it, man. And then I'm super obsessed with like medieval times, and kind of like how like there's nothing in Canada. Like I love Canada. I'm very patriotic and happy to be here, but it's like historically there's nothing really that interesting, you know what I mean? Like I mean, obviously if you go back
to do that though, I mean, if you've got your YouTube thing, that you'll be in a situation, you know, with the growth of the channel, that you have the ability to be able to operate from any location, really.
Yeah, totally. I mean, as long as I can line up like a place to train and like film and whatever, it's fine. Like I could do that right now if I wanted, but our problem right now is like I have a girlfriend of like 7 years, so I don't really want to leave unless she can come. So I need the channel to get to a point where it's big enough to like support both of us, and then maybe we could do it, but hopefully soon. Cool.
I really like your channel. Obviously, when I was getting into this, and I kind of stumbled across your stuff, because you always do that. You kind of benchmark it, and you think you bring a good energy to your vlogs.
Thanks, man.
You bring it's I try and kind of think about like how I'm going to structure and format my vlogs, and obviously take kind of insights from what other people are doing. Like you've got like, you know, the big dog Craig Ritchie. He's obviously doing his thing, and it's gone quite well for him. And then there's yourself, and then there's a couple of others. I spoke to the average CrossFitter. He's obviously a small channel, but bigger than mine. But yours, I mean, you get to meet like some awesome athletes as well, which is just insane. So,
yeah, dude.
Locally with you then?
Sorry?
Do they train locally with you at the gym?
Who?
Like Patrick Vellner and
I mean, as locally as you would say, you know, within the same province. Like he lives in British Columbia. He's like a 2-hour ferry ride away. So he lives on the island, Vancouver Island. So from where I am, you drive like 40 minutes to the ferry, and then the ferry is like 2 hours ish to get to the island, and that's where he lives. But yeah, like I mean, I've trained with him decent enough. It's definitely not a regular basis thing, but I've trained with him enough for sure.
He seems like a pretty down to earth guy, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, he's the best for sure. Super chill.
I want him to win the games. Like
me too. That'd be really cool. I think if it actually happens in Aromas this year, which like who knows if it will, but if it actually happens in Aromas this year, I think he'll have a really good chance, because he's good at that kind of stuff.
Has he been able to train? Because I kind of thought that he was stuck in his. I don't know what the sort of restrictions are over in Canada.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like it's hard to say. Like I haven't. Like I've asked him, but I haven't really asked him. And I know he's been training a decent amount at home, but I know he also probably still has access to the gym. So I don't know what he's been doing. Obviously, the gym closed to the public, so like even if he was going there, it'd probably be fine. But I think he was training at home for the most part.
I mean, as long as he's self-isolating. I mean, as long as people are self-isolating, I don't see I don't have an issue with people do. You know, if they're going into the gym and it's just them, it's like, well, that's fine. Do you know what I mean? Because essentially, it's their work that they can't do at home. You know, if you think about it.
Yeah, exactly. I think he was kind of okay with it to some extent, because he already had a pretty big competition season. So like he was using it as kind of like a deload and like an opportunity to like rehab. So I really wouldn't think he's been going to the gym. I think he's probably just been taking it a little bit easier at home to like take a little off season or whatever. And then, you know, in a couple weeks, if they decide the games are going to run, if it looks like it's going to run, then I'm sure he'll ramp up. But
questions.
Yeah, go for it.
What got you into CrossFit would be the first question. And when did you decide from that point that you were going to go on the vlogging journey?
So I started CrossFit back in like 2014-ish, playing rugby. I was playing for the university I was going to. And the strength and conditioning program, because I was playing rugby, was a club there. So like in Canada, you have varsity sports and then club sports. So varsity is the one that's funded by the university, and then club sports are basically like self-funded. So like we have a league, we still play. Basically, it's the exact same thing, but we don't get the support from the university. So we were playing club and we didn't really have a strength and conditioning coach or program for the off season because we were club. So I was kind of searching for one, and it was around the same time I was actually coming out here to BC in trials for U21 Canada, and they had a pretty rigorous requirements for like lifts and body weight and all this kind of stuff. And like I've always been like super small and not super strong. So I was looking for something kind of like strength and conditioning wise, and I found Owen and Ben Franks, the All Blacks. They were big into CrossFit back then. Like 2014, they had a CrossFit gym in New Zealand, in Auckland, and I just watched a couple of videos of them training. I was like, oh, that seems kind of cool. So I like Googled like what CrossFit is, and I kind of found like some CrossFit football workouts that look similar to what I did. And so I tried doing those in the gym, like the school gym, but the strength and conditioning coach, who wasn't our coach, he was the coach of the varsity athletes, hated it. He hated CrossFit, and he didn't like us working out in there anyways because we weren't varsity athletes. Yeah, exactly. So after like a week or two, he kicked me out. And so I found there was like this super small local affiliate that just opened with like 10 members. And it was like 20 minutes from where I was going to school. I was going to school in the middle of nowhere too. So it was like happenstance that there was one there. Showed up. First workout I did there was like Fran. And I did it in like 6.5 minutes or 7 minutes or nothing good. But like enough that the coach there was like, oh, wow, you're an athlete. Hey, would you like to coach? Because she was like, running the gym and trying to run a chiropractic business or something too. So she just basically was like, hey, like I need the help. Do you want to coach? And I was like, okay. I know nothing about what CrossFit is, but sure. So for like 8 months, I coached there, like no level 1, nothing. And that was kind of like my introduction to CrossFit. And then that following summer when I went home, for the summer, I got my level 1, and then I started like coaching. And
I always think about going for the coaching badge, but I'm like, because I work full time, like as an IT recruiter,
right?
That's kind of like my main source. But before that, I was a personal trainer, and kind of didn't really like the whole kind of one-on-one training sort of side of things.
Yeah,
good, but like, it got to a point where I'd rather, if I was ever going to do it, I would rather just be like a CrossFit coach. But then I kind of fell into a career, and then I was like, I can't really, give that up yet. So what's the route out? So I've kind of just decided to go down the vlogging route, but surprisingly, it's a lot harder than I thought it was going to be.
What, vlogging?
Yeah, it's just
you don't just post a vlog and blow up. It's not quite how it works.
Not at all. Like, not at all. I mean, the good thing is, I suppose the question to you, what got you into the vlogging journey?
So it was actually completely separate for CrossFit. So they're private on my channel right now, but I'll probably make them public at some point. But I started vlogging back in like 2017. I'd been doing CrossFit for a while. I was coaching CrossFit full time while going to school, and I found this guy Casey Neistat.
Oh, I follow him. Yeah, it's
like the father.
Thing, but
yeah, he's like the father of vlogging. Like he's the OG of daily vlogs. He daily vlogged for like 650 days in a row. And I had never really watched YouTube before that. Like, surprisingly, like 2017, I didn't really know what YouTube was other than like cat videos and like Epic Mealtime. Those are like the only things I'd ever seen. And so I found him and I like watched through his channel, and it just like showed me what vlogging was. Like I had no idea what it was, and I watched and I saw it. And like to that point, I had always kind of said that like I felt like I was creative and I had creativity in me, but like I had always sucked at everything I was taught that was creative. So like singing, music, painting, drawing, writing, like all those things I either hated or sucked at. And so I felt like, I'm not creative. I saw this, and just hearing him talk about, how he used movies or videos to like express himself, whatever, I was kind of like, that might be kind of cool. And I had always enjoyed kind of like being a character, like being like a little bit like of an inflated version of myself. And so I was just kind of like, okay, like I'll give this a try. So it was literally just like I watched his videos through. Once I finished his vlogs, I was like, okay, cool. Picked up my iPhone, never shot a video in my life, recorded an entire vlog like this, straight up and down vertical. So when I went to edit it, it had black bars on the side and I couldn't get rid of them. So my entire first vlog has black bars on the side. But it was just like iPhone iMovie, made one with a bunch of YouTube tutorials. It was absolute crap. But posted it, and then the next day I shot another one, and the next day I shot another one, and I did every other day uploads for 100 days, and then I did daily uploads for 100 days. So like 200 days of basically daily vlogging, and that was like my introduction to vlogging. Again, nothing to do with CrossFit. I intentionally, I don't know why, but I intentionally never mentioned CrossFit and didn't want to talk about it. I wanted the channel to be nothing to do with fitness.
Yeah.
So it's just like lifestyle, like, which at the time was boring as hell because I was going to school full time. I was working full time. So I would go to school from 8 a.m. till 2 p.m. and then I would work from 3 p.m. till 10 p.m. every single day. And so I would shoot a vlog basically on my way to school, in between classes, on the way back from school. And then I would work from 3 to 10, and then I would come home and edit it from like 10 to 1 and post it. And then I did that for like 200 days.
It's an intense schedule, like definitely it's an intense schedule, because it's been a huge learning curve for me. I mean, I've never done anything like that before in my life. Like, I don't know if you've seen any of the videos, but the first videos, I was just like, I look back at them and I'm a bit embarrassed by them and all that sort of stuff. But,
dude, don't worry, that's normal.
So I'm just like, and my first one I did like a garage gym review, and I was just like shaking in front of the camera and all that sort of stuff. And I was like, I've actually got to like edit this and put it out to people in, the public domain, and I don't know what people are going to think. But the thing was, for me, I was just like, you've just got to jump in and do it.
Yeah.
And if you want to do this, you've got to go and do it. And I think that the thing for me, the sort of the self-learning journey for me is that, similar to you, I mean, I wasn't following Casey for that length of time, but it's only something recently that I've really sort of picked up on this, like Peter McKinnon and all these other people. I'm fascinated by the process of filmmaking now. Like, it really intrigues me, and like at the start of your vlogs, you meant you've got a creative itch. Like that resonates with me so much, because it's like I want to create something. I want to record something, film something, piece it together, go through that kind of hardship, of recording, getting something together, and then creating something out of that. Something that's engaging, something that people can relate to, and something that I, at the end of it, say that is the best production that I've made to date, and the next one's going to be better, and the next one's going to be better. So I'm kind of more focused on that. I'm enjoying that part of the process a bit more.
Well, it's cool you mentioned that, man, because it's like that's kind of it, right? And like, the subtleties behind like the brand I'm trying to build, like dream a brand, dream a do it, that kind of thing, as well as just kind of like where that came from, which was a very organic place of just being like exactly what you said. And where I left my intro, it's just like I don't remember what the exact wording is. Plays at the beginning of every one of my videos, and I forget what the wording is. But it's like the creative void that I'm looking to fill, and this is how I plan to do it, or something like that. And that was the first video I ever shot ever in my life. I had never hit record on a camera. That was actually the first clip I ever shot on a camera ever. That was my laptop. I used the video thing on my laptop. And from there, it was just like kind of fulfilling that, because it was, the biggest thing that people struggle with is they feel that way. So they're like, hey, I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. I feel this desire, this need to create. But then, like you said, you struggle with at the beginning. It's just that hesitation to hit go, because they'll record themselves and they'll be shaking in front of the camera. They'll stutter their words. They don't really know how to whatever. They look at someone who's been vlogging forever and they compare themselves. And like, that's death. Like that's where you die creatively, because it just stops you in your tracks. Whereas like, I'm not saying I did it perfectly, but like, I just kind of was like, hey, I want to do this, and just did it. And like, that's my advice to literally everyone, is just do it. That's why the brand is dream it, do it.
Yeah.
Do it. That's the biggest part. That's the separating factor, is like, it's countercultural to glorify dreaming, because for so long, and still kind of, dreaming is like, get your head out of the clouds, focus on life, that's what we've been told. But it's like, there's nothing wrong with having those dreams and dreaming. You got to do it though. Like the is the big part.
That's the key thing, and consistent. I mean, when I said I'm going to do this, and I bought a camera, I said, right, Suze, to my wife, I was like, I bought a camera, I'm going to do this, and I've got the MacBook already, so I'm going to just, I'm getting going with this, I'm going to do it. And did one, and then at first, like all my friends and stuff like, why are you doing that? What's the motivation behind that? And I'm like, because it's just what I want to do, see it as a hobby in the first instance, and if it goes anywhere, that's brilliant, but I'm not in it for if it goes anywhere. It's just, I enjoy engaging with people like yourself and having the opportunity to just create something and, scratch that itch basically. So I'm really enjoying it. And
good, man. Good.
Certain things have picked up. I mean, I've only been I'd say seriously since the start of the year. But like one of my friends who owns like a vibrating gun and massage roller sort of company in Manchester, cool. He's like, can you do some stuff with me? And like one of my friends an online coaching thing. and there's a gym, CrossFit Murrayfield, where some of the rugby players will train.
Oh yeah.
They, he's like, do you want to do some interviews with me and whatnot like that? And I'm like, yeah, cool. Let's do it. So I'm really enjoying going down to competitions, recording, and all that sort of stuff. But yeah,
That's awesome.
I'm really enjoying to see where I can take it. So outside of lockdown, obviously we're in lockdown just now. Where do you want to take your personal CrossFit journey? Like, do you see yourself competing to a higher level, or what's the game plan for you in terms of is it to grow the YouTube channel, brand? What's your CrossFit journey? Where does that need, or is it all of these things?
I mean, yeah, I guess at the end of the day, it's kind of everything. Like, I really enjoy athleticism and like fitness. Like, I really enjoy sport. I always have. I've played sports my entire life. So like, I don't think there'll ever be a point in my life where like I'm not training as if I'm competing in something. Whether I actually fulfill that or follow through with the competition aspect to whatever degree, I don't know. Like, who knows? I've said it kind of before, where it's just like, it'll be serendipitous. Like, if a competition type scenario comes in front of me, I'll take it for sure. Like, I'd love to. I enjoy competing. Like I said, I've done it my whole life, but yeah. I am very focused, obviously, on creating. My number one goal right now is creating the best content I can and trying to like build that business, really is what it is, and build the channel. And right now there's a big alignment between me training like an athlete, training like a competitor, and creating content, which is great. And there's a synergy between the two. And I kind of form that because I love training and I never want that not to be a part of my life. And it'd be very hard for me to train multiple hours a day if it wasn't also part of my work, because that, you know what I mean? So there's a great alignment there, and I'm going to roll with that as long as possible. I'm not sitting here being like, my goal is to qualify for Granite Games 2022. Like, I don't have anything like that. But again, serendipitously, I am sure things are going to just kind of come up, like whether it be like sanctionals or different events being like, hey, come compete in our RX division and film it or whatever, or something like that. And I mean, definitely I'll take those opportunities because those are just fun. And like, that's the name in everything I do. That's kind of the name of the game. It's just like trying not to say no to much, because there's a lot of like really cool things that come out of places you wouldn't expect. So when the competition opportunities arrive, I'll definitely hop on them for sure.
I think your channel's quite strong, but as it continues to grow, more and more opportunities will start to present themselves to you, and it's a good thing. It is a good
100%, man. Yeah.
Favorite athlete, male and female? I don't put you on the spot here. So.
Yeah. I don't know, man. There's something different about all of them. Like when I pick, for example, the example I always give with that question is like when I pick athletes for my Day in the Life series, which I'm very excited to get back to doing once this whole quarantine is over. But when I pick athletes for that, there's something different about each athlete that I get intrigued with and fascinated with, and I want to build a story around or tell a story around. And, each athlete is, at the end of the day, just a person with different things about them. Like people really kind of get, and normally, like, to understandably so, I guess, there's like obsessions with these athletes as bigger than life kind of people. But when you're around them so much, just like when you're around anyone, you get to know them as humans, and like finding kind of the interesting parts in their lives as people and kind of documenting that, I think is what makes the content so interesting, because it's not just focused on their max snatch or their, Karen time. It's about kind of the little nuances. Like,
yes,
I don't know, I'm trying to think of a good example. Like Pat and Cheerios, like how much he loves Cheerios. Like that made that video a lot more than the training footage did. And so, I just love trying to find those things in the different athletes, and they all have different things that I think is super cool. So, I mean, anyone I do a day in the life video with, I like. Like I refuse to do a day in the life video with someone that I don't think is cool, or I don't think I'm going to vibe with, because it's just not. Then I don't think I'd be able to tell a good story. So.
Yeah, I think the thing is as well, like the audiences are looking for the nuances and the kind of the in-depth detail of how an athlete will operate on a day-to-day basis, what makes them tick, what motivates them, but also what your channel does as well. It makes it relatable. I think you're more relatable to the audience. There's a bit of a blend of the two things. It's not one or the other. It's you've got them both together. Guy. So So no specific names, but that's okay.
Yeah, yeah, that was no, like them all.
I think we kind of covered it. So perfect CrossFit workout. What's your jam? What's in your wheelhouse? If I said, right, me and you are going to go head to head, but you pick the workout, or
Yeah,
you and Pat Vellner are going to go head to head, and you'll pick the workout.
Oh yeah, there's a couple things I could be Pat in, I'm sure. Anything with running, for sure. Running is like definitely the thing I'm like above average at, even when compared with like some of the better CrossFitters, just because I think I've been doing it my whole life.
Yeah.
So some sort of running component, like a 800-meter repeat in a workout. So like, yeah, if I had to pick like the perfect workout, probably be something along the lines of, I actually did this one at an affiliate recently, so I'll use this as an example, but 5 rounds, 800-meter run, 30 toes to bar, 30 walking lunges, something like that. I've gotten a little heavier actually because I've been trying to gain weight. So I don't know how great my gymnastics is now, but toes to bar is a decent movement for me. And the muscle endurance side of things is like more my jam than like the strength. Yeah. So yeah, I think like something where there's enough of a run that I can make up ground, and then just kind of like muscle endurance, you kind of moves. Anything with a barbell is the exact opposite of what I'm good at. Like biggest weakness ever is anything to do with barbell.
Yeah,
so.
that kind of let me down in the open. I mean, I got to a good kind of level of fitness, but what was kind of I was carrying in the background was a bit of a sore hip and a sore shoulder, and it was a kind of a string of competitions that I was doing in the UK, and then I did the open, and it's always the same old story where if I did the Rainhill trials, and the weight component comes up like max lift of this, and I'm like, whereas I can get quite high up the leaderboard with like running the Metcon stuff, but the weights are it's not much at all.
Yeah, well, that's why I've been trying to gain weight, because I've never been able to really, but for some reason, I don't know what happened, but like I turned 25 and I literally gained like 15 pounds in like the span of like, I don't know, like a couple months. Like, I don't know what happened. I think I just like hit puberty finally. And so that's been great. So I'm expecting to be a little bit stronger when I get back to barbells now. And I've definitely felt it a little bit in the training I've done. But yeah, that's definitely always been my biggest
sort of number? Oh, you're in pounds, aren't you?
Yeah, so I'm like 190 right now, which I can tell you what that is in kilos. So it's like 86 kilos.
86.
Yeah, 86,
where I measure doing stone. I'm not very heavy. I'm like 70 kilos. Yeah, 70 kilos, something like that. That's quite a lot. That's really light.
Yeah. I was like 175 for like so long. Like when I started CrossFit, I was about the same as you. I was like 155, which is what you just said. 155 pounds when I first started CrossFit in 2014. And then when I started CrossFit, I gained like 10 to 15 pounds. So I went up to like 170, 175, but I hovered around there. The heaviest I ever got when I was like making myself sick trying to do RP strength, like the diet template, and like eating like 5,000 calories a day, just feeling awful for 6 months. I only got up to like maybe 180, and that was like a hover weight. As soon as I stopped eating, I went back down. Like my body just wanted to be like 170 for so long. And like I said, I don't know what happened. I think I just turned 25 and literally like my like growth hormone or something kicked in.
Just flicked the switch in there.
Yeah, and all of a sudden I just filled out.
Calories, don't you? Because I tend to, like, if I start eating more calories and I don't do like double training sessions, then I just get fat. Like,
dude, yeah, it's ridiculous, man. And I've been getting those comments a lot. I'm gonna address it in the next video. I've been getting comments a lot of people being like, "Isn't it a little weird that you eat more than most games athletes?" Because all of the full day of eating videos I've been doing, I've eaten more than every single one of the guy games athletes by like a lot. Like by like 800 plus calories a day. And it's just like, I've literally been eating like that forever. And that is not me trying to force food in. That's just me eating to like hunger. And I've just always had the metabolism of like a baby cheetah, I guess, and always decently hungry. So like, yeah, like 4,000 calories a day is like very normal for me. And maybe like 32 to 3,500 on a rest day. But like, yeah, it's been crazy, man.
Because I've got this like nutrient requirement calculator. One of my friends who lives in the next village along, he's the sports nutritionist for the British Olympic swimming team.
Oh, cool.
So he's like quite clued up in that sort of area, and he kind of did the whole sort of breakdown for me. And he's like, if you want to do muscle gain, it's quite high calories, like 3,674, and that's 2 sessions a day if I want to gain muscle. I'm like, I can't do that. I just can't do that. Like I'll try, but I just physically I can't do that. And I have tried, and I have put on weight before, but as I say, my body composition tends to suffer for some reason. I don't, even with quality calories, I don't know. It's just sometimes, is it genetics, I suppose, or something like that?
Totally. Yeah. Like, I mean, that's the thing, right? Like I tried even I didn't care what kind of weight I put on. Like back when I was playing rugby, trying to gain weight, like I did the gallon of milk a day for like 6 months. Like I was literally trying anything to gain weight. I didn't care if it was fat, if it was nothing. I've never been able to gain fat ever. I've been able to gain muscle slightly. And then, like I said, in the last like 4 to 6 months, it's really kicked in.
Yeah.
Like even gaining those 10 to 15 pounds in the last like couple months, I'm like, I don't know. I think I've gotten larger size wise, but like I have literally gained no fat. Like it's still like fats still there.
Yeah, I've seen from your videos, you still like your body composition is quite lean. If I was to assess it, like there's still visible abs, and you can still see like the muscle definition. But you have kind of sized up a bit.
Yeah, which is like, I don't know. I'm not hating it, but I just like it's so funny because I spent so much of my life trying to do that, and then I just kind of I haven't really been trying to do it recently. I've just been training, and all of a sudden it's just like finally worked.
I was like looking at his vlog, and I was like, he's got big, but he's still got like. And then he said, I was like, damn it! Like, how does he do that?
Don't ask me. I don't know. It just happened.
I suppose. But who do you want to win the games? Now, this is something I've like. Something that, I mean, obviously I like Matt and Tia, right? As I've never met them. I went to the games in 2015 when Matt came second, and I think kind of gave him that kind of that fire in his belly to never lose again, sort of thing. But I just want someone to take them out.
Yeah, sure.
I think it's just it's not as if it's same. It's just like it's the same storyline every single CrossFit Games.
Yeah,
Rich Froning was doing it. That was great, and Rich never lost it because he just didn't do it. And then Matt Fraser came along, Ben Smith won it, and then it's always just been Matt and Tia. And I'm like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like we've had a bit of a flip flop. Like Matt dominated for a few years, and this past year he kind of struggled and had the battle with Noah. And then classically, Tia's always had a bit of a battle. So like, it's been semi-interesting, but yeah, like I would love, who do I want to win the games? Pat, for sure. I'd love to see Pat win the games just because he's the one I've kind of trained the most intimately with. And I honestly think he has the greatest chance. Like he just needs his obviously problem is like what happened this year, like with like a not super well-rounded competition. Yeah. He's like Rich, like in the sense of like, he's kind of like an end of the weekend. He builds himself up kind of dude. Like, so, if Rich was to be in the cuts, he would have got eliminated on the first day or two, probably, like if it was
I think we'll backtrack on that because the whole philosophy around the CrossFit methodology is broad domain. It wasn't very broad.
Yeah. I mean, but at the same time, like, whatever, like if that's the new way they're going to do it, Pat's going to have to adapt. And he said that, and he will, like he's fit enough to adapt and not rely on his durability. But like, that's what he's always kind of had going for him. And so like, I think he's definitely the most capable of the people I've like hung out and trained with. And then on the women's side, like, I don't know, I think Amanda has a great shot, and it's not Heber and Marston, kind of called that one from the beginning, like her first year at the games, I think it was 2018. They were kind of saying that from the beginning, like, whoa, she seems like super fit, seems like she'd have a shot. So I think those two would probably be like my top picks to dethrone.
I'd like to see Pat win it because anytime I kind of watch him on either your vlogs or just in general kind of media street, just generally, I think he just seems like a great lad.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's like good dude.
I mean, they all seem like decent lads, but there's just something about his personality where he just seems like
Canadian, man.
Yeah. Fikowski's quite funny in the world. I think Noah Olsen and Jacob Hepner, obviously the guys that got through to the final, Noah Olsen seemed pretty up for it, didn't he? He seemed like he was going to cause some damage that year. I saw him pull his PR clean or something like that.
Cool.
In his driveway. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens if it's even on this year.
Yeah.
So, you think they should do it? Between you and I?
I mean, should. I don't know. I don't really know. Like, everything's so different between even here in the States, like in terms of how things are. Like, Canada's pretty much like on the reopening phase and kind of like just making sure we don't spark too big of a second wave. But like, things have definitely kind of settled. Like in BC, I know there's like maybe 25 cases in total, and like BC's massive. BC's the size of Germany. So like, that's a big area, and that's just one province. Whereas California, I mean, look at the numbers, like it's absolutely insane. So should, I don't know, it's not my place to say, but do I think it'll happen? No. And if it does, it won't be a true, I don't think it won't be a true, like test, because there's no way they're going to have international athletes from everywhere in the world there. Like there's no way in the next 3 months enough travel bans will be lifted that athletes from all over the world will come. Like maybe there's a chance Canadians can like drive across the border, maybe, but like talk about flying in from places like all over the world. Like,
I mean, no one's flying anywhere at this point in time. So I just don't foresee the logistics working out with whether they run it or don't run it. I mean, if they went to kind of a virtual, games, which would kind of work if they just kind of had to do, to fill the void, but it wouldn't.
Yeah, well, they couldn't do it in Ground the Fittest. There's no way, because like that's not a test of the fittest. Like people, you see it all the time. Like that dude from Greece or whatever, who was super fit at his home gym with his, arguably sketchy movement standards and weights, and then goes to Dubai and just gets absolutely throttled because you know what I mean? So like you can't do an online competition and claim any kind of like real legitimacy from it, especially at the level that like the Games tries to claim. So I don't know. It's interesting because like Dave even touched on it, right? He was like, I think there was one of the questions in his little Instagram live thing where it was like, what if no international athletes can travel? And he's like, we'll still crown the fittest. And then he just talked about the test. It's like, it's nothing to do with the test. It's like, if a lot of the fittest athletes don't show up, then it's not a test of the fittest,
It's the environment that really kind of shapes it as well. I mean, you think, come back to my friend who's the nutritionist, he's saying that, there won't be any PRs or if there was to have it this year, there would definitely be no PRs because people are not able to train as much. But it's really the environment that elevates people to perform optimally. If you're at the Olympics or at the CrossFit Games and you're at the swimming and you're putting your goggles down, there's all this routine stuff that you do, and then you go for it, and there's that adrenaline that goes in your own box. It's not it's a completely different environment. It's
and like, I mean,
response or stimulus, if that's the right word to use. It's not the same environment that shapes people's outputs.
Well, I mean, I think that's kind of the thing. Like, again, to kind of go back on that, I would love for the Games to be able to happen fully at the ranch with no spectators, because I think that the lack of environment would find an even truer fittest, because it's not just someone who gets hyped up by a crowd. It's like, who can go that hard with nothing, like dirt, and like, you know what I mean? Like, it would be all grunt work, and it would be like, so, I mean, I think if the Games happens at the ranch this year, I said it already a couple times, the Games happens at the ranch this year and international people can come, I think Emily Rolfe would like have an extremely good chance of winning. Like, she would probably be my pick because she is like the grunt work queen and lives off, like, she works out at 4 a.m. in a basement garage with no windows and no air circulation. Like, she's like the most badass. So it would just be cool to kind of see that comparison too. Like, not just who lives for the spotlight, but like who can actually just like grind it out.
Well, there we have it. That is the interview with Nate. What an awesome, cool, down-to-earth guy he really is. And I'm glad that he was kind enough to agree to do an interview there. It was so awesome. So thanks for watching, guys. If you are enjoying the content, please do hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with recent news, CrossFit news, fitness tips, and product reviews, and all things just generally fitness related. And I'll see you in the next video.